Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially one of our fellow Toastmasters, our area governor, Patrice. Our Toastmaster magazine, I think it may be the most recent issue, has something called How to Write Your Speech in 1 Hour. I don't know about some of you, I don't have an hour to spend writing a speech. I organized this speech in 18 minutes. And I'm going to give you 3 ways to do this. And then use the word hat. Tom, what do they call that when we use letters of a word to put some ideas out there? A memory tool, mnemonic. So if you remember hat, you can remember these 3 ideas. So it's talking out of your hat. When you use a mnemonic like this, you can organize your speech, and if you're lucky, you can remember it. And it tells people that this speech is not going to last forever, so that's a good thing too. All right, the first thing you can do when you're speaking fairly off the cuff, when you're called up to say something about Coach Wooden here. You don't know Coach Wooden, and you've got to say something. First thing, the first letter H is history. And you can talk from your personal history. Go back to your childhood when things were vivid to you. And you can start out by saying, I was coached basketball for a long time. I didn't get into basketball when I was a kid, but as I got a little older, I was lucky. I got to play a little golf, and later did some bowling and took some lessons that didn't do me any good. But I think the coach must be able to do something that does help his players, because that's why he's the coach, and that's why we're honoring him here tonight. So, for example, if the subject was Romania, and somebody said, tell us how you feel about Romania. Someone off the cuff, demonstrate, going back to your childhood, something about you could say. Could be something about geography, it could be something about foreign countries, it could be. So give me an example to show people that this works easily.
Romania. When I was a child, I hated it when my mom made goulash.
Right.
And we all know that Romania was overrun with gypsies who made goulash. So I can't stand Romania.
But you're okay with gypsies?
no, gypsies or Romania.
All right, besides Tom's
Hitler was a great man.
Incorrect remark, we got the idea, I think. Very good. And anybody else have something that they would say about, all right, let's take math, something from their childhood. Oh, math.
Well, they say it's good to learn math, but it's always a little bit easier to learn reading, because at least there's pictures with it when you start. I know I certainly liked all the different colorful photographs a lot more than the numbers that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And then they started putting little numbers next to it and other symbols, and none of it really made a whole lot of sense to me when I was younger. But then as I grew up, I realized that math is probably a lot more helpful than meth, which sounds like it, but after going through school, they teach you it, and now it all makes a lot more sense. So I'm thankful for our math teacher here.
This is an example of how we learn more about the speaker. We learn something that he's an expert on. He holds his own views, and we think, I'd never thought of that children might not like math because there are no pictures. So when we speak, it's almost like speaking from the heart when you talk about your own history. All right, second thing, Pat, the second letter is A. And what the thing to think of there is ABC. So if you were given any topic, there was a target speech at one of our district conferences, And the speaker talked about, used the word listen, and they used the L to say we listen with love, and I for invite. We invite the audience, we invite people to speak, and went on and on. I thought one of the evaluators could have said, our speaker spoke with love. She invited us to listen more, and use that same framework for organizing. And as I said earlier, it gives you a chance to organize your speech, come up with ideas, and remember what you're going to say, and maybe help you. And if your audience is interested, they can even remember what you said, especially if you only have 3 letters. And if you review them, history, ABC. So let's take another example. Let's say, and people don't realize it, you can't come up with almost anything. I'm an expert on love. And you can remember my speech because one of the important things about love, so let's start with the L on love. You should really like the person. If you like them, that's a good start. How about something, but if I didn't come up with like, what would be another thing that L might remind you could use in a speech? For love, what could you do to demonstrate love?
Lace.
How about lust?
Could start with lust and try to move into love. Lace. You could decorate their presence. You can listen to them.
Leather.
Thinking going into
Leather and lace.
Leather and lace, yes.
Are you
could
still
give,
single?
You could give a whole thing on that. There's the tough side of love and the gentle part of love.
library.
You
When
know,
your wife is dying, you want the tough part, but you want that gentle part along with it. So love, we won't have time to go into O and V and E, but open, you could come up with them.
Where did the hat go?
And hat, finding where to hat. Talk out of your hat. The third way to come up with a speech is the Letterman's, what do they call that? What's Letterman's thing called? What's the T sound for? That list of terms, top 10. Yes, thank you. So you can use it for come up with comedy, as I did in 10 minutes or whatever I had before my stand-up, and you could it'd help you come up with things to say about how have you used Toastmasters in your real life. Gets me out of the house. Some nice people. if I don't abuse them. So if I have, I apologize. Madam Toastmaster. Don't clap too loud. The building falling.